Alright guys, Such here again today, and Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. Thanks for the last year of support. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your day if you're watching this today or Boxing Day or whenever into the future. I'm not recording this on Christmas Day. I'm having hopefully a lovely time with my family, but if you guys are in the position and maybe the Queen's speech is on or whatever and you need 15 minutes to kill, that's why I thought I'd make this video today. So yeah, hope you're enjoying your Christmas if you do celebrate it, as I said, and looking forward to the new year, right? 2020, new entire decade, which is crazy to think about, like what the position I was in 2010, like just going to secondary school, I think, or maybe not even going to secondary school yet, I don't even remember. Like it's pretty crazy how a decade can transform you from one age to another, right? And in 2030 I'll be like 30 years old, like that'll be mental. So yeah, that is what it is. Today I'm wearing this like reindeer kind of hat thing. It's got a bobble on the top, pretty good, getting in the festive spirit. And yeah, let's hop into today's topic. So of course, Christmas time, like time for children, time for, enjoy the Santa presents and all of that stuff. So today I wanted to talk about young guns and rookies and their potential for the upcoming season. Looking back on what we saw in the Black Ops 4 season, looking towards what we could see in the Modern Warfare season in terms of who will be the breakout talents, the rookie talents. We saw a huge amount of that throughout the Black Ops 4 season. A large part of it, I think, was the switch to 5v5. We got more opportunities for, fifth players to come into the team that weren't necessarily expected or weren't necessarily, the talents weren't necessarily recognized yet. But as a fifth player, it gives you more opportunity to bring someone like that in. And today we're going to look through some of the individuals that represents and where they could go in the upcoming season, and also guys that maybe didn't quite have their breakout that could have it going forward. So like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would really appreciate it. And this is the Pro League from the Black Ops 4 season. So first place, of course, at Vegas, second, third, and fourth all got qualification into the Pro League. These were the individuals and some other qualifiers, of course, through the Pro League qualifier, and these are the names. And what I wanted to do is look at the actual individuals that I consider to be pretty much breakout players of the Black Ops 4 season and who we can expect going forward. So if you guys think I'm wrong, if you think there's another individual to add on to this, then I'll bear that in mind in the comment section below. Dashy is an interesting one because you could definitely argue he had his breakout in World War II. He was a fantastic player. He had a ridiculous KD along Enigma 6 and Complexity and these kind of teams. But on OpTic Gaming, he finally broke out and being considered one of the best players in the world, won the championships. That's why I consider Dashy kind of on the borderline of being a breakout. TJ definitely wasn't, given that Advanced Warfare he played in, and also, Dashy then again played since Infinite Warfare, right? So you can make that argument either way. And TJ won tournaments in World War II, so there's no argument there. Ian, I did two undoubted breakouts. I think, again, you can maybe argue that Abizi had his breakout in World War II. He played really well, but in my opinion, he stepped up his game to such a great degree on United that he was the breakout, of course, one of the breakouts on United, alongside Simp, who is the absolute no-brainer, who, was arguably the best player in the world last year coming out of his breakout, and I think he won Esports Player of the Year, or Console Player of the Year, or at least, I think he won Esports Rookie of the Year, Console Rookie of the Year at the Esports Awards. Nothing really to say on Spice. Luminosity, Brack, and Skies, key mentions. Brack, of course, came off that early Midnight team, and Skies joined that Elevate squad, eventually got picked up onto Luminosity knowing that he was good. So these are two clear breakouts. Frosty is, of course, another interesting one because he's a former world champion Halo in the Halo scene, but really towards the end of the season, I guess he did have his breakout in terms of showing that he can really compete in Call of Duty. So a lot of people expected him to, and we talked about it on this channel for the entire year, really, how Frosty was probably going to keep improving as the year went on, as he did. And you can look back and now say, maybe that is considered some degree of a breakout, given that he's actually cemented his status now in Call of Duty. Zaptius, another big name. We talked about him since World War II days, really, and when he had that crazy clip against Tommy's Vitality at Champs, we thought, okay, maybe Black Ops 4 will be the season. I wouldn't consider him a complete breakout. Maybe you can keep him still under the radar and say he wasn't a breakout in Black Ops 4, and his breakout may come in the coming Modern Warfare season. That's probably honestly a better way to do it. Phantoms, again, another name you can put in a similar category. Yes, he got onto a Pro League team. Does that make him a breakout necessarily? I guess he hasn't had the results to back it up. So I guess Phantoms and Zaptius here, you can kind of put in a little bit of a grey area, and you can definitely say that there's potential for them to actually have their breakout in the upcoming season. Some even more names here then. So let me just zoom zoom out for 1 second, Enigma 6 had some massive, in terms of rookie talent towards the end of the year. Kismet, I think, had his breakout this year. So did GodRx. Just how good GodRx was the latter half of the season, I'd say that qualifies as his kind of breakout season. Mayhem's an interesting one. I kind of just made the box like this because it was easier, but I guess Mayhem has been around quite a long time. And Breezy, another player that now on this, going from this Enigma 6 team to make it into the league as well on the Paris squad. Dylan undoubtedly had his breakout season. Just a phenomenal player really from start to finish in that title. So impressive from him. And Heretic's another one. These guys have managed to make their way onto some teams in the upcoming CDL. I'm not actually sure Methods has, no, Metals even. But Journey and Lucky, Vortex, didn't really do enough to consider it a breakout. But Lucky and Journey for sure. I think they had their breakout year in the Black Ops 4 season. And then Gen G, another big squad. I didn't really consider Elevate here because these players, they didn't really do too much in the season to be considered breakouts in my opinion. But Maniac, Morks and Envoy, I think these were really their breakout seasons. Morks has been a name we talked about for a long time. Finally came good, I guess, in Black Ops 4 and started competing for tournaments, as did Major Maniac. And Envoy really came out of nowhere on Midnight to be one of the most deadly SMGs in the entire game. And then you look at FaZe Clan, you look at Celium, you look at Asim. Whether you consider Asim to fully had his breakout yet is, questionable. FaZe Clan weren't that good of a team last season, I suppose. But Celium, I think, definitely from where he was at the start of the season, where he was, what he was expected to do coming into the season, had some pretty damn good performances and really put on a clinic. So Asim came in a little bit later. Maybe you wouldn't consider him quite in the same vein, but I think Celium definitely had his breakout year, I guess. So looking over these two, screenshots I've just showed you, there was an awful lot of breakouts, right, in the Black Ops 4 season. A lot of players getting chances, and we'll probably see that going forwards as well. So let's have a look then at these are all the players effectively and all the teams for the upcoming CDL season in 2020. And of course, we have a lot of players here because we've got substitutes, we've got coaches, we've got all of this stuff. The screen is kind of packed. Let's go then and look at this from a breakout rookie perspective. These are the guys I've highlighted. So we look at FaZe, pretty much all these individuals I'd say have had their breakout now. Abizi and Sim definitely. Celium, I guess you could say, is still slightly borderline. If Atlanta FaZe go on to win like 2 tournaments this year and whatever, if they're top of the league, who even knows how the tournament structure is going to work? Probably just a mid-season and end-of-season playoffs, but who knows? If Atlanta FaZe are a fantastic squad and Celium is dominant, then I guess maybe you could consider this year as his breakout. Priest has been around a while. There's definitely potential for these substitutes to have breakout years like Gravity, but what are the real chances that he actually makes his way onto the starting lineup? I kind of doubt it. We can pretty much skip over the Huntsmen, I think, as Envoy is pretty undisputed as had his breakout earlier. The Dallas Empire is the main topic of discussion, right? These are probably some of the guys that I'm going to be putting in the thumbnail because Illey and Shotzzy are the real main 2 rookie players coming into this year that people are expecting to do well. Illey especially, we've heard this name for years. I remember watching him just absolutely dominate in Black Ops 3 and I'm like, damn, this guy must be like, he must be pretty old, like pretty experienced. And I found that he was like 14, 15 and I'm like, damn, this guy's on another level. Like even younger than Simp was at the time, and Simp was like 15 back in the Black Ops 3 days. He's managed to have his breakout year. Illey is the key name to keep an eye on. Like Shotzzy's already a Halo World Champion, right? He's just turned 18 to be able to compete in Call of Duty. Illey is the guy that we've heard his name throughout the amateur scene for so long, and a lot of people are really expecting to him to be dominant when it comes to LAN. Simp had an incredible breakout when he first did on the scene in Black Ops 4. This could be Illey's year. That's what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of expectation on his back as well, and he has got exactly the type of guys you want around him to keep him on the straight and narrow. Clayster and Crimsix, of course, come to mind. So Illey and Shotzzy, I think, are probably 1 and 2 in terms of expected breakout talents this year, and they're on the same team. So that's a really scary sign if you're not a fan, I guess, of the Dallas Empire. Some other teams don't really have some particular names. So Florida Mutineers, I think these guys have all pretty much had their breakout now. The Royal Ravens is in a similar position to what you'd expect. Los Angeles Guerillas. Decimate's an interesting one because he's kind of been around a while, but he hasn't had a phenomenal year, I guess. If Decimate, like he's been around in World War II and been decent. He was in Black Ops 4 and he was decent. If he goes off this year, is that considered a breakout? It's kind of tough to determine exactly how the definition should lie. But then we look at the Minnesota Rokkr, and yes, their main squad, you could argue for sure that I think Alex Alex had his breakout probably in World War II, and Black Ops 3 was pretty damn good as well. GodRx, I think, latter half of Black Ops 4, it kind of solidified himself as a really good player. Asim, again, is interesting. Maybe you can consider him to have broken on in Black Ops 4, maybe you couldn't. But Exceed and T-Tiny are potentials, right? If these guys get subbed into the main squad, which is not out of the question, at some point, they could potentially have their breakout. Exceed on that. I think it wasn't G2, whatever Tommy's team was called at Champs, he was on that, and he had some pretty good, maybe it's Sicario, I don't know where I'm getting that from, but maybe something like that. So yeah, potentially he could be on the cards. T-Tiny, I remember an event in World War II, it was in Montreal or something in Canada. He did pretty damn well in that. People were thinking, is this guy gonna be good when he hits the pro scene? He's finally got the opportunity. Then we look at Paris. There isn't really much to say on OpTic and the New York Subliners. Some pretty old, pretty solid teams, I would say. But Paris Legion, Luca is a player to consider as well. These have a pretty good, they've got a pretty big squad. They've got a 7-man squad. And as I said, you could say that Phantoms and Breezy maybe didn't fully have their breakouts because they were only really considered good for the latter half of the season. If they go off this season, then you could expect to consider that a breakout season. But Luca is a guy we haven't really talked much about. He didn't really get much opportunity in the latter season, but he's really considered to be up there with Shocks and Dens in terms of Australian talent. So he's a guy to keep your eye out on. And the Seattle Surge have done this perfectly, I think, in terms of they've stacked their main roster, 5 guys, really old, experienced players that are going to be good, hopefully, on a boots on the ground game. But you've got Panda and Proto waiting in the wings. Proto's an interesting player. He's been around a fair bit of time, as has Panda. I don't think Proto's ever going to be like a top tier pro, but he plays super cracked out, and he's honestly a really valuable player on your team when you're playing well, because he creates so much space for you. And I think he's pretty underrated in that sense. Panda is a guy, however, that I can see having a good breakout if he gets the opportunity. He reminds me a lot of GodRx. Him and GodRx have kind of been the duo, since the Ghost Gaming days and all of this stuff throughout World War II. And you think if he gets the opportunity with Surge, he really could put on a clinic here and do something special, as GodRx did in the latter half of the Black Ops 4 season. Yes, there's a bit of association going on there that makes me think the Panda might be better than he is, but still, he's managed to get the opportunity. Definitely a guy to keep your eyes out on. And then we look at the Toronto Ultra. The likes of Cammy gets picked up as well off that Units team in the latter half of last season, and Kleenex, of course, after that good result on Singularity at Champs when he honestly put on a clinic against Aches' team at the time. I guess it was Team Envy. He was honestly shredding people. So he's got the opportunity to get onto the bench. We look at this starting lineup and we think, okay, Lucky Metals, Brack, Metals has actually got a spot, of course, as I was talking about, Methods and Looney. We look at this team and think there's potential to need some change here. You never know, maybe they don't get along with the Spanish guys, maybe Methods or Brack kind of conflict in terms of the role dynamic, who knows. Then maybe you need another individual to bring into the squad. Either Kleenex or Cammy could come in, as Dylan did a few months into the season, completely rejuvenate a lineup and completely turn it around. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Are Illey and Shotzzy overriding everyone in terms of who we expect to be breakout talents? But as you can see here, right, there's a lot of teams that you expect to be good in the upcoming season that don't have those breakout talents. Are they necessary to be the best team in the world? I guess if you look at the last couple of seasons, the way Simpers happened and all of this stuff, maybe you would say so. But we'll have to see. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down below, as I said, as always. Hope you're enjoying your day, your Christmas day, and looking forward to the new year. Thanks for watching, as always. I will see you next time.